It's hard to tell people work harder because I don't know what their personal circumstances is or where they are mentally. They might be literally on like hanging on by a thread, and you say work harder, and it's like that's it.
Yeah.
Straw that breaks the camel's back. But then you have to kind of like sit them down and talk them through it, and then you think about where you can make easy wins and changes, and then all of a sudden it seems a bit clearer, and it's like, oh, well, there you go. It's no good saying, well, I do this. How can you complain about that? Because then it just makes them feel worse.
Yeah, of course.
I could have easily given up and changed my goals and not been who I am. It's the whole, you've got one life, do it. Sit back, look at what you've got, and then put the pieces in the place that gives you the best outcome. When I get older, I believe it is probably more beneficial for a male, even for like a female with estrogen, to take hormones. I think it helps, when you do the proper research into it, it's going to benefit you for a better quality of life later on. So I don't want to be 70 years old, not able to walk or play with my grandkids. I want to be able to do that.
Because of abusing.
Because of the choice you made for this little bit of success you had when you were young. I think that's not selfish, but it's like I want to be able to enjoy moments later in life and not think kind of short-minded.
Yeah.
Life isn't all academic, especially nowadays.
No,
it's not about
I
what you do at school. So long as you've got a hard-working mentality, fine, I've done my job. As long as you can apply yourself to something, doesn't matter what you do, apply yourself to it.
Today's podcast is the first podcast that has made me cry. Andrew Flynn. I always want to say Flynn, it's Flynn. Andrew Flynn, very good strongman, very cool, calm, collective guy. And that is honestly why I had him on the show. But yeah, I guess it made me get emotional because of the things we were talking about. But this podcast was a very good podcast in the aspects of understanding how to balance and manage normal life stresses is what I'll say. He's a father, he's a husband, he's a very successful strongman, and he balances it all very well. And it's I like to spend time with people like this to learn things. Obviously, we're always learning new things in every day of our life if we accept that anyway. But I like to hear this sort of stuff, and I hope you guys, appreciate it and get value from it as well. But yeah, it's the first podcast that he's made me cry, and also not the first one that's took the piss out of me, but he gave me some bullshittamins, which I've never seen before, which are quite funny. But anyway, dig into the podcast. Please continue to like and share the podcast as much as you possibly can. It means so much to me, and the feedback has been insane. Okay. So, shall I call you Andrew or Andy?
Andrew, if I've done something wrong.
Andy.
Andy.
I feel like calling you Andrew, so let's say you've done something wrong.
Cool.
You're a naughty boy. So, Andy. Today I've got Andy O'Flynn. You know what? I said O'Flynn the other day. It's Andy Flynn. I want to say O'Flynn.
It was dropped.
Yeah, I said that the other day. I messed up on that. So, Andy Flynn, you have been a very successful strongman from what I've seen so far. And it's great to have you on the show, so thanks very much for travelling. How long have you travelled today? I know it was a bit of a...
That's only about 4 hours. It's all right, it's not bad.
And he did get here in the soaking rain.
Yeah.
It's the first day it's rained actually for a long time, so sorry about that. I didn't book that in. But no, thanks for coming on the show, mate. Just give the listeners a very brief, before we go into the present, because I keep forgetting about the present, but a very brief overlook of who you are and what you do.
So I'd say a father, a husband, firstly, and then I like to do a bit of strongman on the side, really. That's what my life, to me, looks like. I go to work, I have a wife, I've got 2 kids, and then once that's all done, I go down my gym at the bottom of my garden, I lift some weights, and then I compete every now and then. That's my life.
Yeah. I'll just say very quickly, Sarah already knows you, my missus. She's probably going to want to marry you right now.
Sorry.
You've just said the number one thing a woman wants to hear. You are a husband and a father first.
Yeah.
And I envy that.
And I think that's quite a weird thing probably to hear to someone who's, I won't say successful at strongman, that does strongman, that puts the family first.
Emphasis,
because it, to me, this isn't. It's not everything to me. I could stop and do something else the next day, which is a weird thing to hear. You know, people are going to say, "Oh, you're going to go world's strongest man." It's like, maybe, but I'm not crazy about it. I'm crazy about watching my kids grow up and spending time with them.
It's really funny because obviously, without going too much into that, let's do the present and we'll come back to it. But as an accountability to remember, because I'm shit at remembering things, I actually want to dig into that about you, because that is something that I really like about you, how calm you are and how... I want to say easygoing, but I don't mean that as in non-dedicated.
No, I am.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I always get that presence with you. We've obviously not met because we know each other, but we've seen each other a lot of times now, haven't we? Like just at various.
Seen you last year of England, I think you were with Mason.
Yeah,
there, and then I saw you this year, and then the UK's
Yeah. But I always have that like with you've always got that like chilled.
So laid back and horizontal.
Yeah,
Everyone
there you go.
Yeah, pretty much am.
Yeah, no, that's good. Right, so. Present then. Now this is something as a ritual that we have. It's not for me. I think the main account is for me. But ritual that we have on the show where you bring a present to remind us that you came on the show.
Yeah. So I thought make you laugh a bit. That's the only thing I think of. I don't really know you.
I'd love to laugh.
One is a nice little game for you to play with people. It's called
Bumhole. Name that bumhole.
Name that bumhole. I know you're a bit of a piss taker, so I thought that would be good for you.
I'm just a bumhole. That is actually hilarious.
And, I've got you something, because you're doing podcasts now, some bullshittermans.
Bullshittermans. What the hell's that?
It's just a piss take.
What the hell is that?
Helps to prevent you talking bullshit.
That is insane. I've never seen anything like that.
I thought
100 milligram of anti-BS. It's actually got like the full pharmaceutical on it. So it says take as many
don't take
tablets.
them. I wouldn't take them if I were you.
Yeah, I wonder what they are.
I don't know what's in there. But,
You know what? They're definitely going to be gone by tomorrow. I just want one.
If you just leave them laying around, they might just disappear randomly.
On the back it says, it's a proper like chemist thing. I don't know if you can see on that or on the... This is for the people that are on YouTube, sorry if you're not. But... he says, take as many tablets as you need before and after food. Take regularly and complete the course. Warning, avoid sharing contents. Prescriber, Dr. J. O. King. Joking. Oh, tell you what, he's...
That's when you said I'm laid back.
He is full of it, isn't he? I actually really like that. That is funny, and I'm genuinely going to play this with my kids.
Yeah. I thought that as well.
They would love that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they're only animals' bums, so I'm sure they're going to see it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Well, thanks very much, man. Right. Appreciate it. So, let's tap into obviously a little bit more of a flash on who you are and stuff. So, I like to shout these out because it's what obviously you're very private as a person. It's what I see you as on the outside, obviously on the strongman side of things. But obviously you're an ultimate strongman athlete, so you do the ultimate side of...
I've been on the ultimate scene for the majority of my time as a strongman, yeah.
Yeah.
But not by choice, I will say, because I think how strongman has progressed now, that was all I could do.
Yeah.
Of a man of my skill at the time. The last 3 years, I've been struggling with injuries, ruptured biceps and bulged discs in my neck, but I couldn't really push then. But I got to the point, I think it was UK's 2021, where I was decent, but then I ruptured my bicep. So then I've just kind of been
floating
around.
How did you bicep? I remember it happening.
It was the elevated brick deadlift thing.
Yes, yeah.
And I went up to it with the full intention. I was like, oh, that's right, I can do a bit of like a sumo cheaty thing here. Yeah. And I asked him, he said, it's fine, it's allowed. But then I got up there and I had my conscience kicked in. I was like, no, bring your legs in. But I didn't think about my elbows. So at the time I stood up, my elbows were in front of my hips. So when I fully extended and it swung.
Yeah. Did you know that instantly? Bang.
I've done my right. I've done both. I've done my right, Sean Logan, at pole push. Done it. I was in 2017, and then done it. UK.
I've never done it and touched wood.
No,
but it's a strongman thing, isn't it? Biceps, like it's
like a badge of honour in strongman.
No, it is.
If you've done your bicep, you've made it.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
One of my best mates, he's done it a few times anyway, and he's been around the block. He's not a youth, if you want to put it like that. But we was racing one day. And I will claim this, and he'll listen to this anyway, so I'll say it again. But I have never ever beat him on speed events, although he is older than me. I will throw in there. But I beat him this day,
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he did his bicep. He tries to say he did it on the first one though.
Pushed
But
you up.
I'll just mention that again, just so
Just so it's out there.
yeah, just the more people hear it, the better it is. Yeah, but so yeah, and then your Cerberus athlete.
Mm.
How long have you been there?
That was 2020, probably 2020. I think when I'll come. That's when I went to UK's. I think then I got made an athlete. I was near the final eliminator when that started happening as well. I can't exactly remember when, but yeah.
Do they treat you well?
They're very good. Yeah,
They seem like a good company.
Yeah, they've helped me. Strongman is expensive sport, and if I was to buy all the gear, all the supports and everything like that, even the sandbags the Cerberus give you, which I've got in my back garden and they last, they're absolutely great. Throwing bags as well, that's helped me prep for comps, so they've definitely allowed me to then progress further in the sport, which I think is it's weird for me, because I also think sometimes that you're not worth being given something for free.
Yeah.
So I always think I have to work for something to make it happen. So to someone to say, they say like, ask for anything, it's fine. But I'm like, could I please have some of this? And they're like, sure. What else do you want? I'm like, maybe this. And it's a bit like I feel guilty for asking. Yeah. I think like, what have I done to deserve this? Yeah. There's also that guilt complex of like, I'm just me. I don't know why you're giving me this stuff. But then, they're just really, you're doing really well.
The thing is, you have to get a balance to it of embracing it. Because I'm the same. It's like, obviously, you know, Silverback and people I work with, it's a bit like you can have whatever you want, obviously within reason, but at the same time, I'm not the sort of, some people get excited, don't they, about getting new kit all the time.
That's all it was about when it was like, probably 6 years ago, everyone was like, I want to be a sponsored athlete.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, I always thought, we've got to earn it. And then when I did earn it, I was like, oh. There we go. Yeah, I was like, what have I done to deserve this kind of thing?
Sir.
Yeah, could I please have some new elbow sleeve, please?
Mine's actually got a hole in it.
I had Fox ate my belt. I left it out.
Is that true?
Dry. Yeah.
That is a great story.
I know.
Are you sure that's true?
No, it is. I left it out in my gym, and it was like summer, because I wasn't sweaty, so I left it out, and my lifting shoes. So my right lifting shoe has got a bit missing out of it, because the fox has chewed on it.
Wow. So go from not having anything to making the biggest lie you could possibly make.
Start getting my homework, innit?
Do you know what I mean? But cool, yeah. And then obviously I like to mention it because I know you get all red and you feel silly, but you're the housewife's favourite as well.
Was,
I mean, you're a good-looking guy. I know a good-looking guy when I see you.
Never was. I never really had a girlfriend when I was young, and then all of a sudden you start lifting weights and taking care of yourself, and then you're...
You are one of the only strongmen with hair.
Hair, yeah. That's what it takes to be good-looking.
Yeah.
Hair, and you can see your chin.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. They can't see it with the beard,
You've not just got one...
No, I've put on some weight now, so try and hide it a bit. Trying to hold on to that title, and all these young kids coming up the ranks and trying to take it from me a bit, yeah.
But you do get that across. But then, I've gone here, second England's recently. Yeah. And obviously you've done quite a few comps, haven't you? You've come second twice at England's.
Yeah. This year...
You podiumed... did you podium UK's? What was it? Which one?
Fourth.
Fourth, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean... So when people talk about like your strongman career, what do you want to achieve? And it's like, yes, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to come first. Everyone wants that. You are today's winner.
Yeah.
But I think now where I've been injured for quite a while and I've pushed, and it's like sometimes you think perhaps if you just calm down a bit, you'd have been fine. And where I've been out so long, not being able to compete, I kind of look and think, pace yourself, and then you might actually not injure yourself and be able to compete more. And I think that to me is now more important, in which I will be consistent in all my strongman comps and I will be able to place high. And that to me then makes a great strongman, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
because you're across the board better, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd rather consistently be at shows doing well, because then it's like you're there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just a bang and fizz away.
Yeah.
I want to be consistently there. I want to do this sport until Masters going on. Yeah. So as long as my body will allow me.
It's funny, isn't it? Because what you're saying there, obviously, it's completely individual to the person, isn't it? But that's let's just use an obvious one. But Eddie, Eddie Hall. I don't know if anyone knows him, but that was completely the opposite mentality, wasn't it? It was like, I'm going to go to the fucking top.
Yeah.
I don't think he then said he was going to go, leave the sport before that, but but that ultimately what he did is what he did. But I like your approach because, quite simply, you're enjoying your journey as opposed to completely stressing yourself out.
My only goal was to make England's once, and that was a 5-year plan when I first started, and I made it to England's after 3 years of training strongman.
Yeah.
So anything after that, my wife would tell me, I just said, I just want to make England's, and I did England's, and then it's like, I want to make UK's, and I made UK's, and it's like, it just kept on going, and I was like, where does this end? So now I'm 31, and I'm at that stage now where it's like, I don't care, I'm just going to enjoy it. And that, well, I think before I was so serious, and I was like, and I was putting so much pressure on myself, like especially like 4 weeks before a comp, I'd probably have a bad session, that's it, room a day.
Yeah.
And you think, what's the point?
Yeah. You see, I don't know you in massive depth, but just from what I know of you, I don't think that's true. But obviously it is.
Well, what you mean about how competitive? I'm very competitive.
No. As in, like, a bad session would completely screw you. I see you as so chilled and
no,
do you know
no,
what I mean? But is that an old you then?
No, if I deal with it better now.
Yeah.
Previously, if I had a bad session, I mean, because I train late at nights, it'd be the last thing of the day anyway. So I'd literally go back in the house, and people would ask me, "How's your session?" And I'd be like,
"Don't ask today."
Shit. Shit. And you're like, oh, it's just like. But then where I've been, my training age is quite big. I've been doing lifting weights since I was 13, so it's I'm quite experienced in it, knowing that it's the rule of thirds. That third of the time it's shit, third of the time it's okay, third of the time it's great, and you have to take that into account, and you have to just accept it.
Yeah, that is a great mentality of looking at it, because you're right. There's so many people that will have a shit day and everything goes out the window. Yeah. But again, they're the people, like what you're saying a minute ago, that take things too serious. And I will hold my hands up. I have got a very obsessive personality, and I think that takes over with that sometimes. So I will obsess on things and then be more stressed than I should. Or
that has a
could have
negative
been.
effect.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's what I think. Where I've tried too hard, and then I've just ruined it. And you think, just enjoy it. You're not enjoying it. Enjoy yourself.
It's funny because again, that's probably another brownie point for Sarah. Not that I'm setting you and my missus up, but that's what she always says to me though about that whole. And you're right in that she always says to me, like, when you're not enjoying it, that's when you get stressed, and then you
become an asshole.
Yeah, but it's true. But you don't, because you have a bad mood. You have a bad mood. You have a bad look on it. You have a.
Then your whole personality becomes you're a strong man, and it's like you can't. Because you've got all these other people depending on you, and you can't just rely on. You're not in your own bubble. You've got this bubble around you, the support network, and you have to kind of use that to help you in your sport. Not because if you don't, then you're just going to piss everyone off. You're going to get pissed off. Weight's not going well, and it's just this downward spiral of you being an arsehole to everyone and stuff not going your way. Yeah. So you really have to like. That's when I said, like, I'm a bit blasé, and I'm not like, I'm going to be the best deadlifter in the UK and all that stuff. It's more like, no, I'm just going to see where it goes, and I'm going to enjoy it. I've kind of learnt from all the times that I've pushed, tried to get something, and then it's almost like, then it's not a fear of failure. Yeah. Because I don't mind if I fail. Now, I couldn't care. I'll turn up to, like, any comp I go to now, it's not a case of, before I used to stroll Instagram, see who's lifting what, and be like, I want to get this, want to get that. But it's like, now it's no, I know what I can do. I've got these times in my mind. If I hit that, I've had a good comp. Where I place, that's where I place. Yeah. I can't do any better.
That on without going too deep into the strongman side of things, but it all relates to mindset anyway. That is quite a big area, isn't it? That so many people struggle with, where they're constantly looking at other people and they're thinking, I can beat that, I can do this, I can do that. And you know what? Like, and I know you know this anyway, but I always say to my athletes, you can't control them, and you can control you. So just make sure you put the effort in on controlling you. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Because all that time you spend on in your energy trying to control other people, you're just.
It's like when you're at a comp in the warm area and you start looking at people and you're thinking, what's he doing? It's like, why are you looking at him?
It doesn't matter.
What's it got to do with you?
Yeah, it's true.
Just focus on yourself. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's like the comparisons to Thief of Joy. But it's like, they are a completely separate person to you. They have You know, like especially strongmen nowadays, people, that is their job. Essentially, they work in the gym, they do strongman, they go home, eat the food, and they're like, that's like the best probably prep you can have to train. Whereas I'm up at 6 a.m, I go to work, I get back at about 4, play with the kids, then 7 o'clock put them to bed, probably get to the gym at 8, then I'm training to 10, and then lucky to get 6-7 hours sleep. So then me comparing myself to them's like, not
stupid.
a chance.
Yeah, well, it's stupid to compare yourself, isn't it? Yeah,
because I don't have that. I can't compare myself to that. That's not the same.
But as well, like flipping that round to the positive that you clearly show and that you prove is that because you have a less stressed lifestyle or thought process towards being the best and the perfect strongman, actually that probably gives you winning points for yourself, doesn't it?
Because if I'd had that winning mentality, I've got to do well, I've got to do this, then I'd say I have to get 7 hours sleep at night.
None of that will fall in line, what you just said.
Because a child could get up at any point during the night, and then you start getting annoyed at the child because then they are the one that you think is mucking up your progress. It's like, no, that's not how life works.
No.
Life doesn't work like that.
No.
There's these optimal points. There's like the bronze, silver, medal goals that you can have. A gold medal for me is getting 8 hours sleep. Bronze 7, and then silver 7, and then anything other than that is 6. Even just getting sleep is a pro when you have kids, because some nights if they're sick or if they're crying, sorry, you've got to stay out with them, and then perhaps then you you get stuck in, I have to train. You don't have to train. You'd like to train. So then it's a case of look at your week, look what you can do, and adjust. And that's the same with anything. Just look what you've been given and adjust to it. You can't control it.
Which is a very powerful way of looking at life anyway, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, a lot of people try and be perfect too often, and you know, we all have like perfect streaks, don't we? I know perfect's not really the thing, but we'll all have streaks, won't we, that's going really fucking well.
I mean, like now I'm on a streak right now with my lifting. I think I'm just getting better and better and better. I know that there's a regression that needs to happen because that's how life works. What that'll be, hopefully not an injury, but you'd have to factor that in, because currently right now I've done I think it was 13 weeks, I've done 4 comps or something like that, which is stupid. But I never went into this year thinking I'd do this well. But then perhaps that's why I've done so well.
You've just gone with the grain, haven't you?
That's probably why I've been so successful in what I've done, because it's like I didn't put the pressure on myself to perform well. All of a sudden, this is your best best placing year ever. So there's something to be said about that.
I always forget this. There's a term of how we progress, but when we regress, it should be higher than last times. Although you look at the regression, it's actually you're still at a higher stage than last times. I forget what it's called. Something that diagram is. But do you know what I'm trying to say?
I've got a mental image in my head. Yeah, that's what I have with life.
But you have to look at it like that, don't you?
As long as you're moving forward, it's okay.
Yeah.
But there's a starting point.
Yeah.
So remember that starting point, and then you come up. It's like hypertrophy training, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you build up to a 4-week stage, and you come down, and you go up again, and you come down. And you have to do that, otherwise you're just going to burn out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But each time you come down, it's not a down for any other reason than...
It's not a down, it's a step back.
Correct.
4 steps forward,
and you've got to understand that happens. Yeah.
It's like when you get injured. People think, oh, now I'm injured. It's like, no, now you have to change your goals to adjust to what you can do.
Yeah.
I just took Ryan Bennett's place at England's because he ruptured his bicep. It was probably devastated the bloke that he was going to do England's. But it's like, from what I've seen, he's changed his mindset into now I have got to work on my weaknesses.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset you need.
Yeah. Is that Giants England's? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when's that?
1st of October.
Cool. So that's what you're prepping for now.
Now, yeah.
How's that then for you so far? You was obviously on a good streak anyway. Then that's come. That's like
I wouldn't say that was my plan, but like I couldn't do the qualifier because I was doing UKs.
Yeah.
So
did you get that through OSG then? Is that what they've given it you as the next one down? Is that how it's worked?
Don't know. Didn't specify.
You just had an invite.
I just go hi. We'd like you.
Maybe it's your hair. Like
could be.
Yeah.
There was some good looks there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll leave that there in case there's a really good valid reason behind it.
I think it was a case of, again, it's like then not throwing your toys at the pram. I want to get to a giant show. Now that's my goal is, to go to that next level. I think I'm capable of it and I can do well there. But I couldn't do the qualifier, so I was like, I was gutted because I thought I really want to do it. And I was like, I think I'm one of the better strongmen in England that's probably worth the shot at this comp.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, can't do it. So what can you do? Tell you what, I'm just going to do the best I can and place the best I can to make people think, oh, if there's anyone pulls out, who's the next guy in England who deserves a shot? Oh, Andy Flynn's done quite well. And it's kind of like that to me.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what's happened.
So. No, I believe it would be, yeah.
But again, it's like you can't dwell on what you can't do. What can you do? And that's what.
So what are the events there? Just out of interest, that's good for you, bad for you?
It's log for reps, axle for deadlift for reps, yoke, same as OSG, minus the shield.
So what's your log weight?
140.
Yeah.
So that's a rep fest.
Yeah.
330 axle. Again, I haven't done axle.
Decent.
Yeah.
Decent weight for
420 yoke. I think 200 to 250 stairs and sandbag steeple.
Nice.
So all good.
So at least it's events that you've touched recently.
Yeah, I've done it. That's what I mean. I've got no.
Just repeat.
I can't say, I've only had 2 weeks prep for this. I'm going to do very well.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I've trained OSG.
Yeah.
And this is like the same but lighter. So it's like, can't use that excuse, can I?
Yeah.
So,
but you are one of the fitter athletes, so hopefully you'll adapt to it very well.
I thought that, but then I went to OSG, and I think I've put on 16 kilos now from nutrition, and it's like, ooh, that extra weight's weighing on me now. I'm getting older.
And just to mention as well, obviously you're natural.
Yes.
So do you? Obviously, like we said earlier on, like you're not against it or anything like that. But,
No.
but is that just a path you've taken because you were just pretty, again, your mentality of just chilled with it? And
It's one of these. Pretty difficult to explain to people, but I've never needed it. So why? I've never needed it, and I've never got to that point where I thought I've done everything I can. Now I can kind of look into it, because my progression pretty much has been kept on going slowly. I don't expect massive rewards to all of a sudden happen, and it was just a case of I don't really want to. Well, it costs a lot, I believe, and I don't want to mess up my hormones for then later in life to suffer for it. I think whilst I can perform at a high standard, why would I look into it?
Yeah.
Which I think, and part of me is like, kids, I don't want them to think, you've taken steroids, that was like an easy way for you to kind of get strong. More a case of no, hard work and dedication will get you far, and I think longevity in the sport is what I want more than success. So I'd rather be in the sport for a long time. There is success along the way, but to have a longer period of success. That was my mentality going into it.
Yeah. And I guess obviously if, like you said earlier on, if you get to a point where testosterone level drops, because it will in the man at some point,
if I get to like
then obviously you know it's going to serve you very well.
Yeah, because I know if I'm at a young age and I start taking tests, then there's a whole depression side of things and all those kind of stuff that happens, and I'm not going to purposely do something that's going to make that happen.
No, of course.
When I get older, I believe it is probably more beneficial for a male, even for like a female with estrogen, to take hormones. I think it helps, when you do the proper research into it, it's going to benefit you for a better quality of life later on. So I don't want to be 70 years old, not able to walk or play with my grandkids. I want to be able to do that.
Because of abusing.
Because of the choice you made for this little bit of success you had when you were young. I think it's not selfish, but it's like, I want to be able to enjoy moments later in life and not think kind of short-minded.
Yeah. And obviously, what do you think to people like Eddie Hall then, that went the extreme so fast? Like, what's your thoughts on that side of things? 'Cause obviously that was a completely different mentality, wasn't it?
That's this choice. Because it's this thing about what natural or not natural, about fairness. So long as there's equal opportunity, it's fair. Because is it fair that a 22-year-old doesn't have to get up at night with their kids and I do? It's not fair. But the opportunity, I chose to have kids. So that's my choice. If someone who takes steroids, performance enhancers, it's their choice. But it's my personal choice not to take it. So it's fair.
And it's allowed in the sport regardless,
right?
Yeah, so
it's a fair playing field. So it's up to you what you want to do. And I don't want to do it. If someone beats me, fair enough, you beat me. But then in my mind, I'll see you again next year. And if you beat me again, fine. I'll see you again next year. But then there's a certain time where you're not going to be
They're
there.
not going to be...
Because you can't keep up with me. So there's that kind of thing. It's like, I'm eventually going to beat you.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, I'll just be like, see, told you.
So you're going to be the new Miracle Man eventually.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah.
So when we're talking about, lifestyles and, the things that you choose to do in life, not you, but we're talking about people, right? So the things you choose to do in life, the route you choose to take in life, obviously a lot of that comes from your upbringing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just talking about like this, the not just about the steroid route of things, but like, the route that you decide to take in life, I always feel like that comes massively from how you're brought up and how extreme you've seen. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm very respectful, I think I am, of people. And, I like things just so. If someone made me a drink, I'd take the cup out to the kitchen. A bit like a gentleman. Like, you should be like that. Old-fashioned, probably, look after women and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
If I'm walking on the pavement, I'll walk in the road, she walk on the pavement. It's like of old ways I'm brought up properly, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the proper, respectful. I think I'm quite level-headed.
But a lot of that comes from like your upbringing, doesn't it? And I think that's why it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Because not that it's about judging people, because it's up to people what they do. But when you look at what other people do, it's like there's always reason behind it, isn't there?
Mm.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I think
that's probably because when I was young, I didn't have many friends. And those that I did probably took the piss out of me, called me fat or, like stuff like that. So I know how that feels.
Is that to a point of bullying, or is that just like...
I mean, yeah, but
you
probably
didn't
not
take
extreme bullying. That it's nothing bad, but it's like to a point where I thought, these probably aren't my friends.
Yeah.
So, and then you kind of...
But saying that, kids can call you something that you're not.
I know, yeah, exactly.
And it's like, to them it's funny or important, and actually it's like, no.
So that's probably has moulded me and like how my upbringing was. That I respectful for people. I'd let people talk. I won't judge someone by just what someone tells me. Like when I first started at workplace, and people tell me, "I don't talk to him. He's in trouble." But it's like, no, I actually speak to him. I actually hear what he's got to say because I take him for his word. And then it's up to them to do me wrong. And then once you do me wrong, that's it.
Yeah, but then you can decide.
Then I've made that decision. I'm not going to go by what you say.
I like that, and I'm very much like that, because sometimes you can actually overthink this, can't you? But sometimes it's like I respect you, right? If you said to me that guy's trouble, because I like you and respect you, I'll then go, okay, then I will still judge myself, but I will be aware of what you've said. But sometimes you can overthink that, can't you? Because it's like, but that he might be trouble to you, but again, unless they're trouble to you. But then at the same time, if I then get on real good with him, I'm thinking, fuck, am I trouble as well? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. At what point is this going to turn?
Yeah, exactly. But before
gotcha.
you know it, it's all just he said, she said bullshit, isn't it? And I think you can't go through life. I mean, I know you see some of the content I put out, and I put some really controversial stuff out. But at the end of the day, I'm a public figure to Strongman. I have a very opinionated view on certain things, and you have to run by what you actually think as opposed to what someone else said.
Yeah, keep your own
morals
to yourself. Like,
yeah.
For example, if you take steroids, because I associate myself with you, doesn't mean that I am then a steroid taker. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, it's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't have time for those people.
but again, it's all each their own, isn't it? Like it's like you do you, I do me, he does him, and
Weird place you got going on.
Who does who? How far does that go? So when you talk about, obviously you've got on here rugby before strongman and stuff. Do you think that helped your strongman?
Oh yeah.
It's always a sport, isn't it? I've never ever played rugby. And actually, it's funny how many people have said to me, "Oh, did you play rugby?" I think that's just because of strongman, isn't it? Like
I think
similar shape.
Anytime you're good at strongman or good at moving event, did you play rugby before?
Yeah.
It's like
no. I wouldn't even know what to do in rugby. I literally, I'm not even joking. Yeah.
Harlequins, isn't he?
Yeah.
A fitness coach.
Yeah, well, I think he played first, didn't he? Then he was the coach, and But
so much carries over from it. But when I playing rugby when I lived in Peacehaven, I was playing for Seaford, and So the rugby fitness itself was great. All I did before that was go to the gym. I was quite strong, obviously. Back then, we're talking like when I was 16, 18, I could bench 150. Just all shoulders as well. There was no like proper shite form. So I was quite good in terms of strength from upper body. I was curling 30 kilo dumbbells. It's like my upper body, skip leg day all the time. So then when I went to do rugby training and they got you running around the field, the shin splints was terrible. But I kind of knew that there's only one way through it. You've got to push through it. And then to help with the rugby, there was a CrossFit gym that we went to. So I did, basically I'm a CrossFitter. Yeah. Kind of rugby
What
player.
year would have that been? Cause
oh my God.
sounds like, well...
I moved there 9 years ago, so 10, 12 years ago is when I was doing CrossFit and rugby.
Yeah, maybe you forget when CrossFit did come in though, but CrossFit came in at... Well, it should have come in a lot earlier.
And I had a good coach as well. It wasn't a case of ages ago CrossFit was like, it was taken as a joke. Yeah. She was a good coach. I think she was like an ex-army.
But done right, it's fucking good, CrossFit. Yeah. You can't...
That's what I mean. She put it towards rugby specificity. Yeah. So it was a case of, it wasn't just doing, you go and do this WOD. You do that.
Of course.
It was a case of,
got nothing to do with what you're doing.
Prowler, and sprints and shuttles, and then you are doing, I did like Murph and all that stuff. That's a bit of fun sometimes. Because I went on the, I think, training on the Tuesday and Thursday, and on the Wednesday was a specific kind of rugby. But then I went Monday and Friday as well, because I loved it.
Yeah, but it's getting you general fitness, plus then you got your specific...
Yeah, and then I get better at playing rugby.
Yeah.
And then it was just that kind of snowballed.
Yeah, good. So, father and strongman, obviously, getting the balance. What would you say to people? Because obviously, I think you said you got a 6 and a 4, did you say?
Mm-hmm. Atlas is 6 and Opal is 4.
Atlas and Opal.
Mm.
So, yeah, I've got a 7 and a 4. 4 literally as of yesterday.
All right. Yeah,
and he woke up this morning just for the humour of it. Or not woke up this morning.
I got kicked in the head this morning to get up, mate.
Yeah, it's a genuine thing. What happens every day. Leo, yesterday, where was he yesterday or this morning? I don't know. He was basically, Sarah sent me a picture. He was face down. He'd pissed on the floor, absolutely naked, bum in the air. And that's just a casual night, really, isn't it? It's like, he's 4, he's had a great weekend. He's basically hungover from the weekend.
I've had this before, like when I did UKs, and I've got my wife and kids with me. Yeah. You think I'm getting a good night's sleep?
Yeah.
No.
UK's inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing them there, yeah.
I've done that. I've done as a Team World Championships in 2019 as well. I did when they were very young.
But how do you balance that, though? Because obviously, you said the best line. Obviously, I envy you. I'll listen to it again, and I'll probably try and say it one day. But your first line about being not a wife, a husband,
and a father for Strongman.
That
you can take that.
Genuinely is.
Yeah, because the kids come to the shows, they love it.
Yeah.
And I've got videos of my son. Go, Daddy, go, Daddy.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what, that's memories you're never going to forget.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually heard your lad shout at UK's. Yeah. I'm sure you will remember it, but I actually heard that because then they said it on the mic, and actually that was what reminded me that they were there.
Yeah, they love it. It's great to have them there to see it as well. It's one of the things that I hope that then they'll see that their dad has done this stuff, what he's done to do it. The gardens, the gyms that want my garden. So it's all there. They can see what I'm doing, and they can take that in their life and think, you have to work. If you want something, it's yours to take. Yeah. You just have to take it.
What's your take on obviously the thought process behind? Because I'm like you, my kids are always in here, and I want them to. It's really funny actually. Sarah said the other day, and it's a really nice thing to think of. She said about Nelly, because typically women, are scared of gyms, if you want to put it like that, or they're in fear of gyms, maybe because of the people that are in gyms, or because of the gyms, or because of how they feel, and all these different feelings. She was saying how Nelly hopefully won't feel like that because she's just here all the time. Yeah. And it's such a good, you know what I mean? It's a nice feeling, isn't it, to think like that?
Yeah, well, my daughter does gymnastics anyway. Yeah. And if I go down the gym, she's like, I've got like a TRX that swings on the squat.
And she's just doing stuff on it,
swing. Or they'll go and pick the dumbbells up and go, It's like, but that's, every household, I think, should have a gym. Yeah. Just so they have that fitness aspect in their life.
That's where I was going, and I agree.
You should, I think that, or like a kettlebell, anything, just to keep you moving. I've got a Swedish ladder in like one of my rooms with things on them, like gymnastics, like swinging around, but it's like just to build their grip, just to build their. Well, she's got abs already, but it's like that's what health is to me. Is having a family based around like we go kayaking, paddleboarding. We'll keep them active. So when life isn't all academic, especially nowadays, it's not about what you do at school.
No.
So long as you've got a hard-working mentality, fine, I've done my job.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
As long as you can apply yourself to something, doesn't matter what you do, apply yourself to it.
Yeah. Did you struggle at school?
No.
Was you quite academic?
I was I got like 7 C's, a B, and a D. I think.
Cool.
So
I didn't get 1 C. So I wouldn't
top trump card.
I wouldn't know what that feels.
No,
like.
I mean I was quite nerd. So when I was like 16, I used to go home. So I used to go to school, come home, play World of Warcraft, raids at night, late night raids, Command and Conquer. I used to be like a proper gamer.
Yeah. Quite introverted, were you?
Yeah, very. I couldn't talk to girls at all. I used to just be a bundle of nerves. Couldn't talk to them. And then kind of, when I left school, I didn't go to college either. Even though I was smart, but nothing appealed to me. I loved the gym. That's what I like. That's the thing with Strongman. I'm a strongman, but if I didn't compete, I'd still go to the gym.
Yeah, because you love that aspect.
I like training. That's what I enjoy. So when I left, it was a recession, I think. So I couldn't find a job. So all I did was pretty much in the morning, get up, play games, go to the gym for about 3 hours, come back, play games, go to sleep. That was my life for like 9 months.
Sounds pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. My parents weren't impressed. You know,
I don't think your missus and kids would be impressed if you went back to that life.
No, it'd be great though, wouldn't it? But, no.
Yeah, no, but I think that's the makeup of people, isn't it? Like the reason I asked if you struggled at school or not is because I struggled at school so much. I sort of like had to find something I was good at, otherwise I would be just a pile of mess. Do you know what I mean? And
but then you say that, but then I was like that as well. I was alright at school, but I was never good at anything. I never had something that I could excel at.
Yeah, that was you.
So then I really enjoyed lifting weights. I wanted to be a WWE superstar. That was what I wanted.
Really?
I had the Batista on, picture.
Did you know you're sitting with a wrestler now?
I did see that, yeah.
Mate, I have not.
Brush up your acting skills, but yeah.
Did you see what? You see what I had to
I saw
do?
the log thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I did drama in secondary school.
Really?
That was my B in performing. So I'm quite. You
Dramatic.
put me in a situation.
So you put me
in a situation, I can do it.
Yeah.
Next time invite him.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, you probably know more than me. I've not got a clue about wrestling, and I mean it. To be fair, we were literally mesmerised. Is that the right word? Don't know.
But yeah,
but
in all,
I was literally like, what?
It's choreography.
It was a weird feeling. Not in a weird as in crazy. Do you know what I mean? It was just like me because I took Sarah and the kids because I got asked to do that, obviously, that event thing. And then I was, because I got there and obviously they see I'm quite a jokey person. I was like, I can't be serious for too long. Do I have to be serious? I was like, no, don't be serious. I'm like, cool. I'm in my place then.
Right, yeah.
And then that's where I made up that log thing because they said that Chloe had to win one, I had to lose one, and then I won it back in the end.
Right.
And that was what we were. Do you know what I mean? That's what they
story.
were. Yeah, that was a story. But again, story. Like obviously you understand WWE and stuff.
Yeah.
To me, it was like, what do you mean you're making a story?
Choreographed mixed martial arts, maybe.
It
we'll
is,
call it that. But yes, it's like there's an outcome.
Yeah, but
you have to
then when
tell
they're
a
like
story.
fucking choke slamming each other and all that, that's the only move I can think of. I don't know. When they're doing all these moves,
stunner, rock bottom.
I don't, mate. Honestly,
Rust, no. Tombstone,
honestly,
mate.
wrong person.
Only
mate.
2 years apart.
Yeah, but I
And you
just
didn't
wasn't. No, but this thing, mate. You know Kirby,
The little.
the way you play Kirby on.
Oh no, I think about
Yeah,
Nintendo
so
Kirby.
you probably So you probably. That's what I'm saying. So you,
I used to play Kirby. Yeah.
You was a game man. This, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Mate, I used to do like Kirby and Knock Door Run and shit like that.
Well, I don't know. 44 Sable. Those games. That's one of those
No.
child games you used to
Right.
play.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I was
you were out
so
and
more
doing it.
active in that
Yeah.
sort of side of things. So I never watched wrestling. Never done anything like that. It's just, but yeah, it was a cool experience. Though. That's
Do you have any
definitely for
siblings?
sure. Yeah, sister, and I've got 2 stepbrothers. They're younger, sister older. Yeah.
Wrestling with a brother. That's probably. I thought you.
But again, they were. It was a separate family. Like, do you know what I mean? Like my mum and dad had split, so that wasn't the same house. So it's not like I couldn't beat them up. No.
Oh no. Yeah.
If I beat them up, I'd be beating them up in the
Brother
street,
used
and
to
I'd probably
beat
get
the
nicked
shit out
for
of
it.
me.
So if you got older,
I've got an older brother. Yeah.
yeah.
He's not as big as me.
But do you think
I'll beat him up now.
Do you think that toughened you? As
Oh
you-
yeah. Competitive as well.
Yeah.
Wanted to beat him in everything.
Because that's the thing, isn't it?
He was more successful, I'd say, at
Yeah.
a younger age. He was a footballer, so he was. I think he was like trials at Brighton kind of stuff. And he was like the older brother at school. And you're. He's then Darren. You're Darren Flynn's brother. And I was to me that made me feel like I know one.
My name. I have a name. I
am someone. So then I've. As you said, people are kind of. How they're brought up is how they then carry it on.
Yeah.
I then thought, I'm someone.
Yeah, I'm going to change.
I'm worth something.
Yeah.
Look at me.
See, that was your choice. Some people actually feel more empowered like that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. That wasn't a status to me. I mean, he was into like, what's they call him, Chav? But you know what I mean? He had the blonde streak in his hair, and he was like listening to that kind of music.
Did he have a? Did he have a buzz?
Yes, he did. He
Yeah.
listened to like Example and all that kind of stuff. I was there listening to Metallica, and like we were like polar opposites.
He was Eminem.
Like, polar opposites, literally. So then, like, your so-and-so brother was like,
I'm actually me.
Yeah, I'm me.
It's funny because my family say that, like, about, like, you know, you're Dean's mum or you're Dean's sister or you're Dean's. It's like, yeah, I've got a name. Yeah.
No,
but it's the loudmouth. It's because I'm the loudmouth. That's the thing. It's like, how old's your brother to you? What's the age difference?
He's 34, I think.
Yeah. And what's he do for a job?
He is I think he's like a labourer now. I think he changed jobs. I think he's like helps with a building firm, stuff. So he's been very fit. I used to play rugby with him as well. That was quite a good time in my life, really. Yeah. He was a winger. He's fast as fuck. I'm quite fast as well. So it kind of runs in the family. My dad's was quite athletic as well. Yeah. So we've all been quite athletic anyway. That was a good time period when we were both playing rugby, and we used to both go out and get pissed. That was a great time.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds perfect.
Literally used to. But then this is where, like, with the Strongman. So at the time, I used to work night shifts as well. So the first couple of years of Strongman, I'd do like 13 night shifts on the trot. But like on the Saturday, I'd be doing a 12-hour shift at night, getting up so then I'd get home at 6 in the morning, get 4 hours sleep, get up at 10, go to rugby, play rugby, finish about 4 o'clock, go home, have something to eat, back to work that 6 p.m. at that night to do another 12-hour night shift. So that kind of
it's just a
that kind of gets you into my mentality. I was like, I have to work. That's what I have to do to pay for my hobbies.
Yeah.
But I'm doing my hobbies.
Yeah. What do you think though on that? Using that as a good example, because let's hurt a few feelings when we say this, but people are weak nowadays. Right, there's such a weak mentality that people are adopting to because obviously their surroundings allow them to. What's your thought process on that? Because obviously you have a very driven, a very respectful manner of like, I work hard, I get a lot out of it. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Because I want it.
Yeah, but what's your viewpoint on? Cause obviously,
it's very difficult.
Your children are growing up in this age.
Yeah,
right?
So it was bad at a point when I first moved out with my wife. So I'd be get up at 6 in the morning, go to work at 7, come home at 5 because I'll get the money, do the overtime, and then I'd go to gym, get home at 8, and I'd only see her for a little bit. So then you kind of have the conversation of, we can't keep going on like this. You need to. I was blind to what was going on around me. I could just see what I want. Yeah. And I thought, I want money, I want to work, I want to go to the gym, I want to be successful, and that's what I had in my head. Then you kind of need to have that other side of it of, you need to spend time and with people to actually live a life and not just work. It's quite like difficult now. Like literally yesterday, so I got up at 6, went to work, come home, put the kids to bed, saw my wife for a bit, and then I've started my workout at 8:30, got to bed at 11:30, and then obviously I've had to get up again at 6 to come here. So it's quite a. Then people say, I don't have enough time, and then you say that to me, I'm like, are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? It's like, I've literally got up at 6 and went to bed at 11:30. Yeah. And I haven't had a moment to myself. And I think that's when...
And let's be honest, you wouldn't have ate the best last night, would you, after training?
I did all right.
As in, like, do you know what I mean? It's
training,
not ideal, is it?
Literally, like, 2 crumpets, some bread, Biscoff.
Does Tom do your nutrition?
No, Shannon.
Oh, so
Shannon does.
Right. So you can't say it out loud then. So no, you had the best meal.
No, I mean, she's quite good and understanding that I do eat well because I didn't do nutrition. So I've been with her for 40 weeks now. and I put on 16 kilos in that time, and my training has shot up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take my nutrition seriously at all. I didn't track anything, water, nothing. The steps, even that, like the steps, I get the train from Lancing to East Croydon.
Yeah. For work,
and, yeah, and I work in Sellers, which is about a 30-minute walk, or you can get a train for 5 minutes. Walk.
Yeah.
Why get the train?
Yeah.
That walking to and back from work is my 10,000 steps.
Yeah, easy.
How easy a change is that? But it's just looking at that kind of stuff and thinking, where can I make easy wins?
Yeah.
And then making it non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So I do it regardless.
But that's the solid mentality, isn't it?
And I've always had that. That's
but
kind of
but again, though, now people are just opting for the opposite way,
easy.
aren't they? Like
it's easy. Easy for me to sit on the train.
Why
and
would I
watch
do that
Netflix.
when I could do 5 minutes and I can catch up on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell people work harder because I don't know what their personal circumstances is or where they are mentally. They might be literally on like hanging on by a thread, and you say work harder, and it's like that's it.
Yeah.
Straw that breaks the camel's back.
Well, as well, just to make banter out of it, it's like if you're doing a last rep and it's like just do one more, and it's like I'm dying.
No, yeah, literally.
You know what I mean?
That's why when someone says, "Oh, that was easy. You could have done this." It's like, no, literally, it's like that's all I had.
You
in my
was
tank.
me then.
Yeah, you know what it felt like, but it's like it's very it's hard to tell people how hard to work because then you have to kind of like sit them down and talk them through it, and then you think about where you can make easy wins and changes, and then all of a sudden it seems a bit clearer, and it's like, oh, well, there you go. There's no good saying, well, I do this. How can you complain about that? Because then it just makes them feel worse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and as well, you're not going to get anywhere out of that, are you?
No.
It's
That's just going to make them shut off to you.
No, of course. But it's also like, it's something I actually get a kick out of it, though, because I love that whole helping people overcome things.
Yes.
It's that I've done it multiple times in my life and I'll continue to do it because, do you know what I mean? It's something that I love to achieve for myself and prove wrong. It's like, for example, when I first left the army, I got told I shouldn't squat and stuff, and I was like, cool, I'm going to aim to hit 300 squat then. Do you know what I mean? It's
stubborn. I'm very stubborn.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could say you're a dick, or you could say, but I'm just proving that
Depends how you go about it,
there's not a
doesn't it?
limit.
It depends how you go about it.
Yeah.
If you're shouting in people's faces saying, "No, I'm going to do it," but then it's like you kind of want to keep it to yourself. But if someone asks you to say, "No, I'm doing this,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you kind of make it into.
But as well,
existence.
it's for the right reason, right? So if you're going against something that's genuinely not the best thing to do and unhealthy or blah blah blah, then you could say you're being a dick.
Yes.
But as well, for me to be told, because I got told that I should, because where I broke my hip and stuff, it was like it was putting straight. It was actually for the laughs of it, it was actually where a woman breaks their hip from birth. So it's the ischium part of the bone that. Like from a baby growing, it's the bit that gets weaker.
Yes.
And the woman, this is the thing. The actual at the med centre, the woman that actually scanned me and found out, she was like, "You've got a woman's
pelvis."
Yeah, and I was like, "Cool, that's a good day." I was like, "I'm already in shit state because I've just been pulled off exercise because I've got an injury. Now you just told me I'm a woman." But yeah, I think it's how you approach things like that, isn't it?
It depends also like how if that hurts anyone else.
Yeah.
So, for example, when COVID started, I still have sight, and this eye is affected quite a lot.
Really? From?
So I went and had a load of tests, and there's a lump behind my eye.
Right.
So at the time, I had loads of doctors around me saying, "Oh, is it a bit protruded, a bit imbalanced?" So at the time, they thought it was a brain tumour.
Yeah, that's.
But I've had tests. I went through loads of tests and they couldn't work out what it was, and the only way to actually find out is to go inside my head, which is obviously no, you're not going inside my head. Doesn't prove to be growing or it's nothing. Bad.
Nothing says that that's the important.
No, so it's just get on with it. But then at that time, they said that perhaps your body weight might be the issue. They've had similar cases, so then that's when I had the difficult conversation with my wife at the time, and it was like, I need to lose some weight, and perhaps I might need to come away from Strongman a bit. Because that's where it becomes selfish. Because then I'm trying to, no, I'll do Strongman, I'll be fine. Great, you topple over dead, you've left a wife and 2 kids behind you. Because you wanted to prove to yourself, and that's kind of where you have to think about, you're selfish.
Yeah.
I can't, so if anything health-wise happens to me, I've kind of done what I wanted anyway, so I'm kind of lucky in that aspect, but I can't then think, no, I'm doing this. Because then I'm hurting people. And that's what you kind of have to realise, and I think quite a lot of people in Strongman don't do that.
Yeah.
I think
No,
they
I
think quite
agree.
selfishly
I agree.
think, no, I want to be the best.
I will hold my hands up, and actually, it's something I struggle to manage. And again, I'm not just using this as a thing, but it's because I feel like it's because I've got such an obsessive personality
Yeah.
with things. But that's a little bit like saying just do this.
Yes.
It's one of those patronising, like I can't just it's like I said to you earlier on, like about this podcast room. Like I said I was going to do it one night. The next day I bought it all, and then did it within 2
Yeah,
weeks.
I'm very much like that too.
You know what I'm saying? But to be that sort of mentality, and then all of a sudden go right now stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's fucking
No,
hard.
because she said, you need to think about this, what you're doing. Telling me to stop lifting is like taking away oxygen. It's what I
Yeah.
love to do, chills me out. I love doing it. Then it's like, you've got. It's quite a difficult conversation to have with me. Bless her heart, but she loves me. She cares for me. She
Yeah,
wants
she's
the best.
looking at that side
No, she's
rather
looking. She's
than-
looking. She's thinking
yeah.
at it from outside perspective of look at what you're doing.
Yeah. You are who you are before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are a father. You are a husband, and that
Yeah.
needs to come first.
They're
And
good
it's
at
like,
breaking down details.
yeah.
Stuff that we don't.
Yeah, but women are good at that, aren't they?
Yes.
Breaking it down. We see things sometimes on that. Like,
Yes,
this
so
is my straight
God
line.
knows where I'd be without her. Because, I could have, But it's the same with everything. Every injury that I've had, she's always been there to kind of help me through it. And then that's when it's kind of probably made me now who I am, in that I'm so laid back. Does it matter? Maybe not. But I kind of now analyse it. So probably I'm a bit more feminine. But it's like, I analyse it a bit more, and I look at, what's the benefit, what's the gain, where am I going wrong?
Yeah.
And that's like, I've taken that kind of aspect into all my strongman. I don't just go head first.
There's that book, isn't there? Women are from Venus, Men are from Mars. Apparently, I've not read it because I don't read books. Cause I would.
Because you can't.
I've actually got given a book. No, I actually got given a book the other day, didn't I? I was like, fuck, I need to read it. But I actually can't read books. Yeah. But that's what they say in that book, don't they? Like about. Oh no,
He's trying to play that down. Isn't
No,
he?
yeah, I can read. Yeah, I can read.
He reads
I meant as in-
4 by 8.
I don't take it in. But yeah, but that's what they say in that book about, like, it's important to have parts of a woman, parts of a man.
You need to
emotionally.
yin and yang.
Yes.
You need to come together,
Yeah.
and I think that's definitely what I've learned, especially through marriage, and that you need to work together to be a good team, not just you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. That's especially when, like, people having in strongman, like, my wife cooks my food for me, my wife does this for me.
Yeah.
It's all kind of like she is subservient to you,
Yeah.
and that I think it's not healthy.
No. I agree. I don't want to judge anyone that says that, but I also have that thought of like
You help each other in your goals.
Yeah.
So I've got goals. She has goals.
Yeah. And you have to meet in the middle, marry up. And,
Yeah.
No, I agree. So when we're looking at family lifestyle, this, that, and the other, I think you said before you were I don't say made redundant. That's the wrong word. You were off sick for a while.
Yeah. So when we had our first child, Atlas, that was a emergency cesarean. So my wife didn't have. They said that she had gestational diabetes when she was having her first kid.
Yeah.
So obviously they expected to be delivered early. So she was in hospital because her blood sugars were all over the place for a week, and I was still trying to do work, but I couldn't handle that. I literally was going to work. They were good. They let me they were good. I still had to go to work for like 7 to 1, and I'd go to a hospital to see her.
Yeah.
And I was kind of juggling all that, but it's getting to the point where it was getting too much for me to then deal with the stress at work and deal with her being at hospital. So then I kind of it got to the point where I was just like, it was just all a bit too much. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And I
Were
was
you
like,
just trying to put a brave face, and obviously,
I could deal with it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then I think it got to the point where I was literally sitting next to her. She was 35 weeks, 5 days. And they put the baby monitoring on. And that's when the heartbeat was starting to go low. And then they press that button above the bed.
Yes.
And then they all rush in, and you're like, oh shit. But then you're still trying to. I could see her, she's fucking bawling in tears because, fucking.
No, it makes it scary, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and then you're taken around, and they said, well, we're going to take the baby out now. And it's like, okay. And you're just like, you're in shock.
What,
you don't know what's
here?
going on. No, yeah. And like, you just go into this room, and we'll be with you in a second. It's like, all right. And they literally put you in a room, you're just sitting there, you're like, Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is going on? You laugh about it now. About the time, I'm literally like, you're not crying. You don't know what's going on.
It's
You're
like
just like,
it's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thing is, we have to laugh now, don't we? But at those times, I'm with
scariest
you.
moment of your
It's
life.
horrible.
Yeah. But that all went fine. Had my son. But the same happened with my daughter as well. She was 35 weeks and 2 days. That was more planned because
you knew
it wasn't gestational. She actually has type 1 diabetes from pregnancy.
Only through pregnancy.
Through pregnancy.
Yeah, I've heard
through
that.
the stress of the body.
So that's I don't know the full scientific
No,
breakdown.
I don't know the full scientific.
It's to do with the baby drawing, though, isn't it? Like, and it sends
I
your
think
body
it's the autoimmune
blood.
disease.
Yes.
So she, because of the stress on the body through pregnancy, she now has type 1 diabetes, which, this is where kind of me and her on the same wavelength. She's taken it in her stride. Imagine all of a sudden you can eat what you want, then now you have to stick a needle in yourself, measure your blood sugars, and you have to be careful what you eat.
Yeah.
If you want to live a healthy life.
Yeah.
It's just like complete 360. Obviously, you have a child because of it.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah. You're trying to weigh up. You're trying to weigh up.
So it's quite a stressful thing to happen, and literally her life's just like changed. That's it. You're now a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah. But going through things like that, you can only say this as a parent, can't you? Because you just can't understand it if you're not a parent. Going through things like that where your family and your children are involved, that stress is just insane, isn't it?
Yeah, you're constantly worrying about them.
Yeah.
Then, like at first, when you first have kids, it's like when it's first take them home and they're in bed. You're checking them every hour.
Oh God, yeah,
sure
and they're breathing.
Yeah,
and
that's it. Even now, every night before I go to bed, you check in and have a look at them, and I can't hear them. I can't see the back moving. I'm like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you know what I do? So I actually do this thing, and I make myself laugh because I lie to myself. Obviously, you kiss them goodnight, and and no night, and I always whisper in there, "I'm proud of you, I love you," something like that. But actually, at the same time, I'm trying to hear if they're breathing. I'm lying to myself, pretending I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, but then it's like there's no one that I'm doing that to other than myself. So actually, just check if they're breathing if you want to check. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Because it's just something that
But you get to that, and then at the same time, like my kids, at the moment, we go to bed at 7, but then I'll be right little shits, and I go to bed till 8:30. So you've got that juxtaposition of fucking go to sleep.
Yeah.
You sleep?
Please
sleep.
Okay.
It's like a weird kind of dynamic to have.
Yeah, but kids literally test you beyond, don't they?
Yes.
Obviously, as we were saying before, like Nelly had an eye operation the other week, and I don't know if any of your kids have ever been put to sleep, but like she was put to sleep. That's obviously scary, knowing that they're being...
Because they give you the spiel, they would say, by the way, there's this 1% chance they might not wake up.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, fucking tell me that.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll sign because I know I'm signing. You don't need to tell me what I'm signing. It's fine.
I know.
But the thing is, with that as well, it was I can't remember, I think it was like an hour and a half something that they said, but it was 2.5 hours. So obviously, they're like, obviously I know that they're doing their best.
Yeah, but every minute after that hour and a half.
It's like the fact that I'm now walking up and down this corridor, like, counting every possible screw and do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's like when they say to you, "Oh, if you ever worry or anything, just let me know." It's like, now I'm worried, and they're like, "Everything's fine." I'm like, "But you told me to ask you if it's not, so I'm worried." Like, it'll be fine.
Kind of. So as I said before, so Atlas has epilepsy. Oh, he has epilepsy medication because he has night seizures. So even then, straight away.
How is he now?
6.
He's 6. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So he's. So even just being told that, because that just come up the blue, then you obviously take.
So how old was he when he started having seizures?
4. So overactive brain at night time. So then he would literally get up, and he's there, but he's not there. So what
was your first experience of that? What was it?
I would just get up in the night, and he's just not at the time. Just get up, and he'd be standing there, and he's like, so as I'm looking at you, you'd just be like this, and you ask him the question, they'd be like, yeah. And it'd just be like an automated response.
But you thought he was asleep, I guess.
No, I thought he started sleepwalking or something.
Yeah.
And then obviously take him to the doctors, and you're like, this has been happening, and like, it might be night seizures.
Wow.
and then all of a sudden it's like, you need to take this medication. Obviously, he doesn't have to be on it for his whole life, but I think he has to have like
will
a
he
year.
grow out of it, maybe?
Yeah, so he might do. Obviously, the brain's still developing, so probably when the brain stops developing, I think it's like 25. But I think he has to have a year of no seizures for him to then have the dosage brought down.
Yeah.
Of the medication.
Weaned off, yeah.
And then with that becomes other issues. So when he has a fever, I think if he gets near 40, and this happened once, scariest moment of my life ever, he had a fever. He was standing there. Obviously, he just had shorts on, top off, trying to keep him cool. And he was just standing there, and I was just asking him a question, and he went, yeah, 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 yeah. And then he just went blue and dropped, basically.
Shit.
I thought, dead. Literally. I was like, oh my God. Mrs. is in hysterics. I'm there on the phone, and I'm talking, so I'm whipping up a bit. I'm talking to her, and she's like, my son has just fell on the floor. And is he still breathing? I was like, he is, but he's not. It's like, he's...
Mate,
and it's like, you're trying to... It's very common in kids. After it, you're like, oh, it's a common kids, it's fine. And it's like, this happens, but it's like, fucking... I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a youngest at the time. No, he just moved into the house as well. But yeah, it was like, for it to just go like that, and you're like, what the fuck has just happened? And they're like, oh yeah, it's quite... And then they speak to the ambulance, like, oh yeah, it happens quite a bit with kids that overheat, and it's obviously he's susceptible to it because he's got the overactive brain with the epilepsy. But yeah, kids...
I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like it's me.
It's just the fact that
it's just
literally just there, and you're like, it's such an out of body experience because I've never had much in my life go wrong. Pretty easygoing, pretty gifted, I'd say. But then for that to then happen, unexpected out the blue, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then it kind of makes you realise like it can just go like that. He's fine, but yeah, that opened my eyes.
But isn't it crazy as well? So like, you know, you've got obviously the ambulance people, which are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're there in
do you know
flash.
What I mean? But
as soon as you say child,
but they're like, yeah, of course, which is obviously
that's what you want.
We have to be grateful for that, right? But like you say, you just said it yourself, so I'm only repeating what you said. But you just thought he was dead. Instantly, yeah. But then for them to turn around and brush it off, not disrespectfully, because they know, they know it's the right thing. Oh no, it's fine. This happened.
Yeah, they're trying to reassure you as well.
But also, you've got that thing, haven't you, in your head where you're like, "Are you fucking serious? I've just seen the most traumatic thing in my life, and it's okay." But then the other side is you need that because you need that. Hold on a minute, mate. Yeah, I've got you.
So now I know if that happens. So now he's had fevers before, but now we know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So then how we come from that?
Well, you've got to be more cautious at that earlier stage.
Yeah, we know what to do now, but we never knew at that stage.
Man.
So then it was like, now we know what to do. So if he's ever got a fever, fucking hell, are we on point? Yeah, we know what to do. Because if not, then it's like, I'm not going through that again.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
To see the one thing that you do anything for, just drop to the floor and the lips go blue. It's like,
I've seen some different shit in my life, but when it's your kids, it's just a whole new level, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like, that's the most. I let her borrow my car, borrow this, borrow that. Kid, no. That's the most prized possession ever in the world.
And you could never, It's like that. Like when Nelly came out of that operation, she looked possessed. But you know when you come in, have you been put to sleep before?
Yeah.
You know that feeling? I can't really remember it because I was quite young. I remember I bust my hand, but you're coming round, aren't you? And you don't know really what's going on and where you are and stuff.
And they give you pain medication.
Yeah, like, and you're trying to. But Nelly was going, my eye, take it out, and it was horrible. She was ripping all the stuff off her, and she was trying to get up, and she was straining, and obviously her eyes literally just been took out and fucking. You know what I mean? Fiddled with and tightened up at the back. It's red raw. It's swollen. Her face is bruising already.
Haunting, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? And then but then to watch her trying to get up and not listen to you, it just melts you, doesn't it? Because it's those moments that you just can't do anything about, and you just have to.
You are helpless.
Yeah, but that's it, and that's the problem, isn't it? Because you feel you're helpless. You've just got to cruise.
You're kind of responsible for that as well. You're responsible for the child. You have to look after the child.
That's exactly my
words.
And then
at that time, you're like, I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And you're
And
like,
also, I put you there.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And that's that. Yours was different in that situation. But,
Yeah.
you know, for me, with Nelly, I took you to that, and I said it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And she kept saying to us, "Oh, you lied to us." Do you know how fucking
hell.
like
I
seriously?
couldn't do all that.
Jesus Christ, you
I know,
lied. She
yeah.
lied to us, lied to me. She went, "You lied to me. You said it wasn't.
the
It wasn't going to
betrayal.
be that bad." And
No.
mate,
What can you
if
do?
she
Yeah.
knew what that meant, do you
Yeah,
know what I
no,
mean?
yeah.
If only she
Ripped
knew.
your heart out, didn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
I
no.
may as well have just like jumped out the window,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
and just
like, you
gone.
lied to me. It's like, fucking hell.
But you know now, just for the listeners as well, like just to fast forward to now, her eye is literally perfect, and I'm so grateful of the NHS. Just to cap on that, but yeah, oh man, yeah, but that sort of stuff is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to deal with. And then you do juggling everything else around that. It just gets a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's life.
But you know, just to sort of like try and wrap up here and stuff. What would be your advice to people? I don't want to sort of like get you to repeat what you said because you sort of have tapped onto it a little bit anyway. But what would your advice to people be where they're trying to, you know, be you, not you, but you know what I mean. But they're trying to balance everything because I'll be honest with you, I appreciate listening to you like this because I'm not a. You know, with like ADHD and stuff, I'm fucking 20 sentences into the next thing I'm
Yeah.
going to say. With, do you know what I'm trying to say?
You're running
So-
30 miles an hour.
Yeah, so I
engine's
actually
revving already.
appreciate spending time with people like you because I'm literally trying to tell myself this is
Well,
the right.
you're trying to equal someone's energy, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I'm probably very laid back.
No,
so
no,
you're
no,
probably
and I enjoy that. You know,
Yeah.
like we're gonna train in a minute, and I'm just gonna stare at it. Bit weird, but no. But do you know what I'm trying to say? So, what would you say to people that are trying to be successful, but also trying to have that balance? What are the key features? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, what's the main things to focus on?
You can only do what you can do. So I can only do with what's given to me and how much effort I put in. I could have easily have given up and changed my goals and not been who I am. But it's the whole, you've got one life, do it. But there's got to be, you can't be like the hustle lifestyle we have nowadays of you've got to work till you don't know time to sleep, don't worry about sleep, which I did that a bit when obviously you have kids and you're like sleep deprived and you're like, no, that is not good at all. You will burn out. So you have to sit back, look at what you've got, and then put the pieces in the place that gives you the best outcome. And that's what I've done.
And that's looking at you.
Yes, me. So like with my workouts, unfortunately, sorry, I have a job, a wife, and kids. So where do they go?
Did you say unfortunate? I think you know.
I know.
Edit.
Should fucking take that out. So I've got those things in place, and then gym. Where can I put that?
Yeah.
And where can I put that? And that's probably the optimum place for it.
Yeah.
And then that's where it goes.
Yeah.
And then where can I fit in? Do my food prep. Boom, boom. How can I make that easier? How can I make these easy wins to make everything kind of fall in place? And then once you've got that, well, that's what you've got to do. Well, you know what you've got to do.
Yeah. It's in place. You've got it. The plan's there.
And then I'm just running through kind of like a script through life. No, I say that's boring. It's not boring because that's my plan. I've made a plan. I know what I'm going to be doing this week. I know I've got England's coming up at 1st October. I pretty much know what I'm going to be doing up to that date because that's the plan. And then this is the optimum prep for that.
Yeah.
With my whole life, this is the within that I've got to make time for family. I've got to make time for the kids. Got to do work. I've got to do gym. I've also got a charity truck pull for his. On the 17th of September as well. So I'm also
for what? Sorry.
It's a men's mental health charity.
Oh right, cool.
So then I've also that I've got like extracurricular stuff. It's like stuff that I'm doing outside of that, which I've never really done before. As you said before, I'm quite private. But then not that I'm quite private. That's what I've had to do for me to get to what I'm doing now. It's not that I'm not outgoing and I'm not kind of out there. It's a case of I'm saying I'm very busy, but I'm very busy.
Yeah, you've already got things in place. Yeah.
And then they are a priority.
Yeah.
So I have to prioritise those things. Otherwise, those things won't stay around because
Yeah.
I'm not prioritising them, and you have to prioritise them.
Yeah. I think I've learnt a lot from you today.
Well,
No, I mean that, and I mean
I know.
I'm not taking the piss. I'm being
no,
serious. Like
that's
it's,
why people's like. That's the stereotypical ideal, especially like if you talk to any woman, what kind of man would they want? They want someone who cooks, cleans, will help them out around the house, and they aren't so self-centered on their own thing, and they'll help out. And I've had to learn that the hard way. It hasn't been easy. I've had to adjust, and it's not I haven't given up part of me. I've had to come together as part of a team to give us the best outcome, and this is what is now happening because of that. And it is
Yeah.
the best outcome, and I couldn't be happier with it. Like that is the best thing that we can do for our life, for our kids' life,
to fall into place
yeah,
the way you
and
want
for
it
everything
to,
that we
yeah.
want to do outside of the family life. We are our own people, so you come together and you go off and do your own things, and that's kind of like the whole how we run our life.
Yeah. So I think you should do a course on balance. How to balance with Andrew Flynn.
Yeah, but if I'm telling people, yeah, don't worry, at 8:30 at night you can go down the gym, they're like that. I've just been at work for 8 hours. You want me to go down the
You
gym?
shitting me? I'm knackered.
I know, yeah. This is the thing. If they've got like a manual job, then it's like hard for me to then say, yeah, go on, go and do your.
It's funny because
strong workout.
recently, so I used to train. I did exactly what you do. As soon as the kids are in bed, go and train.
Yeah.
But I will be honest, like slightly different to you. It's starting to affect me too much.
Yeah.
For a few different reasons. One, I'm unable to eat, and I'm just not recovering, and then I'm literally screwed and fucked by the morning. So that's affecting me because I'm my sleep. Secondly, I can't switch off at the best of times, let alone if I'm training late at night. Do you know what I'm saying? So actually, for me, it's now affecting me too much to the point where, as of this week, literally this week, I've changed my routine. But I'm now training midday, 4 days a week, and not training the weekends. So do you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm trying to give my weekends completely to family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, sometimes shit happens at the weekends as well, or not shit. Things happen at the weekends where like the other week I was at Cardiff watching Giant Cyber, or an event, or like next
like
week.
the extracurricular stuff.
Next
Things,
week Sarah's
things
competing.
for you, isn't it? And then it's things for her.
Yeah.
And it's just finding that balance all together.
It's like Sarah doesn't compete much or anything, but she's competing like a CrossFit style thing, isn't it? But it's like that. I want to be. She's like, oh, you're gonna come to that? I'm like, of course I will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know, yeah.
But for her, that's not normal because she doesn't compete. But actually, she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to bring Leo and we're going to come and watch you.
You'd be
'cause-
proud of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And this is where it's like, you have goals.
Yeah. It's
Your
trying to get
goals
that-
aren't above hers.
No.
You're equals in a certain sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have to... So my missus works out. She goes to the gym. And I say to her, just let me know when you want to go and you can go. But she's like, oh, I don't want to take time out of your gym. Fuck my gym. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
But then someone who's like, I'm going to be the world's strongest man, I'm going to be this, won't understand that at all.
No.
They'll see that as,
But I have had to learn that though, because mine has took a lot more priority, and I will admit that. But that's because I'm, again, my mentality and how deep I am into it. But I think it doesn't help me in my situation because I own a gym. Everyone knows me for Strongman. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's a bit heavier.
a bit of your personality, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
My personality has always been a father.
prior to that,
Because I've always... Well, my Atlas was due on the Arnold Amateur, and I qualified for the Arnold Amateur
Really?
6 years ago, and I didn't go.
So where did you place on that?
I didn't go to it. I beat, do you know Marcin Senvicki? It's a Polish, under
No.
105.
No.
He was an under 105 world champ, I think, and I beat him at a qualifier. It was at,
Is that what got you through for it? Yeah.
that's what got me through for it, yeah.
That-
And then I was like, I just done it, qualified for the Arnold Amateur. But I couldn't go because
No, of
one, probably
course,
couldn't
yeah.
afford it, and two, my son was due.
Yeah.
But then that's so that's when you kind of understand me, like my family's always there.
Yeah.
I mean,
regardless.
Fucking
Yeah.
love to do the Arnold Amateur,
Yeah.
but sorry, but kids take priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another time I could do that.
Let's go and get it now.
Yeah, no.
No, appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Should we do an arm wrestle? No, you know what? I'm shitting when your arms are
I've done two
massive.
biceps. I'm not doing that.
But no, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to get some training done now as well.
Yeah, buddy.